Calls for Columbia University's president, Suffolk, to resign are growing louder and louder after she surrendered her campus to pro-terrorist agitators, making life utter hell for Jewish students, giving the protesters another 48 hours to dismantle their anti-Israel tent city. Jewish Columbia students have been fearing for their safety as they've endured slogans like, "I am Hamas," and it's only getting worse. So far, 8,000 pro-Hamas protests have popped up in more than 850 cities in the U.S. Universities in Texas and California becoming the latest hotbeds of radicalism, with dozens arrested. But America's coward-in-chief could condemn all of this. But today, Joe Biden was in front of a microphone and a podium at two separate events, yet he walked away when pressed on it.
Mr. President, do you have a message for the protesters on campus?
It doesn't get sold, Mr. President. Would you be able to talk?
Contrast that with House Speaker Mike Johnson. He showed some real chutzpah going into the lion's den of Columbia to speak with Jewish students.
As Columbia has allowed these lawless agitators and radicals to take over, the virus of anti-Semitism has spread across other campuses. I am here today joining my colleagues and calling on President Suffolk to resign if she cannot immediately bring order to this chaos. Enjoy your free speech.
But the radical protesters aren't just on campus. Both Alec Baldwin and New York City Mayor Eric Adams have been harassed while out in public by lunatics shouting pro-Palestinian slogans.
Alec, can you please say Free Palestine one time? Why did you kill that lady? You killed that lady and got no jail time? Israel, Zionism. Please say it. One time.
Could you do me one quick favor?
Are you Eric Adams? Yeah. You! You support the genocide in Palestine. There are homeless people all over New York. You're always partying. You don't actually care about the citizens of New York.
All right, Jesse, I'll start with you. You've got the radical left-wing protesters say they want another 48 hours on campus. You repeatedly hear Jewish students say they don't feel safe. And Columbia has moved hybrid for the rest of the school year. I mean, it sounds to me like the left is in charge.
What's chutzpah again, Janine?
Chutzpah.
Oh, chutzpah. It's Yiddish, right?
I'm not, but I like it.
So these presidents were on Capitol Hill just last month saying, if you say kill the Jews, that's against our harassment policy. The Harvard lady was fired because she couldn't say it. And now these people are just outright shattering the policy, and they're not enforcing the policy. They're negotiating with them. I remember there was a president, Dana, see if you can remember. He said, you're either with us, you're against us. Okay, you do not negotiate with terrorists. And they are now negotiating with terrorists because what they're having a hard time figuring out is this oppression hierarchy. Are the Jews more oppressed than the Muslims? And when you live in a world where you see everybody is oppressed or oppressed, does an inside straight beat two pair? They can't figure out who to side with. And we had a psychiatrist on last night to explain why most of the people are female that are leading this protest. And she said because females, and I think I can speak for the women at the table,
you cannot,
are generally nurturing people. And when their professors are giving them better grades for their social activism, they're trying to appeal to their teachers, and they've been told they're oppressed as women. And they identify with the Palestinians, and they're trying to hug them and nurture them.
Okay.
This is not what I said, Judge. This is what my guest said, who's a clinical psychologist.
Thanks for repeating it.
Okay. And she also said because they're single, they're not nurturing their boyfriends. Their boyfriends have been described as toxic. So they're trying to nurture other people. And I saw this happen in 2020. Remember when there were these Black Lives Matter riots?
Vaguely.
And what everybody did was let them fester. And so they've seen what they can get away with. And now you see it spreading to the West Coast, see it spreading to Texas. And they're going to do this because they know they're not going to be held accountable.
Okay.
And now I know there's been a lot of talk about me being awarded an honorary doctorate by Columbia because I'm such a man of letters. And I just want to say preemptively, I will not accept this honorary doctorate as a matter of principle. So let's just put that to bed right now. Thank you, Tyrus.
All right. You know what? I'm going to go to Dana now, and I suspect that Dana will agree with me that you do not speak for the women at this table. But the important question that I want to ask Dana is this. Look, you have Joe Biden, who gives a talk, who comments on the bill that was signed, the one on banning TikTok and the money, the omnibus bill with the money that was going to Ukraine, et cetera. But at the beginning of the speech, he says, and I'll answer questions. And at the end of the speech, he walks away, answers no questions. And yet Mike Johnson is out there saying, this is wrong, this is America, thank God you have free speech.
It really is remarkable that, I mean, apparently the president can't answer questions unless he's out with Marine One worrying in the background and reporters shouting questions at him. Axios reported this week that he's the only president in living memory to not grant a single interview to one of the major newspapers in the Oval Office. And apparently he's not going to. And that makes me think, even though I think he should debate, and I have believed that there will be a debate, I think that maybe they think that he can't do it. That's my only explanation. But here's this one, which is now for 3 days, they've had an opportunity for him to say something on camera directly to the Jewish students and parents and to the rest of us who are concerned about them, about this growing outrage. And he decides to say nothing. Don't just take it from us. Politico's headline today. The Biden team's blasé about it. And the campaign says, we don't think it'll hurt us in the campaign. Like, well, but what is your principle? You are the leader of the free world. You are supposed to be the one who helps us never forget. And yet here you have students who are hiding. And I do take issue with the clinical psychologist because I believe that women can be hateful hate mongers just as much as men can. And that's what I see about this.
I agree with that. We're in agreement.
Here, here.
And they're not taking their rage out at the embassies. They're taking their rage out on Jewish students and the universities who have them there. I do also think one other thing I just want to mention. I support the idea that if you are arrested, even if you don't get a summons or you don't get prosecuted, if you're on a student visa, you're out. And if you're not on a student visa, your name is crossed off any loan forgiveness for the rest of your life. My last point is this. NYPD is reporting a lot of the ages of the people who are being arrested. They're 25, 27, 28, 29 years old. These are not your typical undergrad. So who are these people? They should be arrested and prosecuted. You know, Tyrus, one of the things that I think is very disconcerting to so many people is free Palestine, long live the Intifada, which is, you know, the Palestinians uprising and killing the Jews from the river to the sea. I mean, are these students so shallow that they didn't know that Gaza is its own entity, that they elected Hamas to rule them?
A lot of things that make me upset, the slogans, but even we're doing it. Pro-Hamas terror. Take the where's the guts? Hamas terrorists are at the school. Why do we keep calling them pro? Why? They're not pro. I am Hamas. If I said I am a Black Panther, and me and Harold are Black Panthers, Jesse, 1%, you're in. We're Black Panthers. We would be treated differently at work. If I decided overnight to identify as a Nazi and I came into this and I am representing Nazis today on the 5, how many commercial breaks would I make, Jesse?
0.
0. I'd be out, gone. So, again, we got to stop with the pro. They want to be it. They're not going to change. These aren't young kids. These are pamphlet protesters who, for some reason, they have circled. And here's the deal. The way this stuff works, Black America needs to pay attention because it usually runs downhill. They'll start with one group, and then they'll start with us. And when is it going to be on? Now, just in this last couple of years, women have been under attack. Being a man's man is being under attack, and now basically Jews, everything that's wrong with them. When the original art, it doesn't matter whether you're pro-Israel or not. If you're a father, a husband, a son, a wife, a mother, and seeing what happened on October 7th, there should be no question to support them. Absolutely no question. But when they say pro, start calling them what they are. That's what they want to be. But let them experience it. And let's start getting a list of actual charges pressed. And, hey, real quick, the president, he did walk away good. He went in the right direction when he left because, as we know, he's very sharp.
Yeah, clearly. You know what? The whole idea of the core curriculum in these Ivy League universities, Harold, has changed. And I think it's almost, I think that this is one of the things that may lead to a rejection of the Ivy League colleges and more kids applying to Clemson and some of the other universities. You know, that these elite universities, they've lost credibility, as will their graduates going forward.
Well, I don't know. But first, it's good to be back around the table. I'm not convinced that how long-term this will be, but you could very well be right. I'm going to say what I've said for the last several days and align with everything around the table. There's no place for threats, violence, or identifying as a terrorist. Every president should have every right to err on the side of their code of conduct. If their code of conduct is ambiguous in any way, err on the side of protecting your students, be they Jewish students, be they not Jewish students, be they black students. I don't care what. Your job is to protect your students. Two, I'm glad the president signed the bill today. It provides aid to Ukraine. It provides aid to our friends in Israel and provides aid to our Asian allies as they try to counter China. And there was a bipartisan coalition to pass it, and the president deserves credit. Speaker Johnson deserves credit. I'm not sure if I was Speaker Johnson, I would have gone to Columbia's campus today. I would have said it from the House floor, but he had every right, along with his colleagues, to do that. What I hope happens now is what you're saying around the table. It is hypocritical for Republicans who get really partisan about this issue to try to make this about Democrats when almost a third of Republicans did not support the bill to provide aid to Israel. Equally so, it's hypocritical of Democrats and President Biden to say things about Black Lives Matter, to say things when George Floyd happened, but not to say something and respond when you're walking off after giving a press conference there. If we don't have the courage as politicians, and I'm a former politician, a recovering politician, and frankly would love to go back.
Oh.
If we don't, all I'm saying is I love the business of politics and public service. If we don't have the decency to say that threats and violence have no place, that you can say you are for the Palestinian people and for a two-state solution, but be totally against those who are aligning themselves with Hamas or who are threatening Jewish students or who are engaging in violent acts against Jewish people in this country around the world, then what are you? So I would say the White House and to the president, maybe the president didn't hear the question. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
No,
hold on, time out, guys.
Let
me finish my point. Let me finish my point. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt, including people around the table. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it's very hard. It'll be very difficult going forward if there's not a statement from the White House on this issue condemning the violence, condemning the threats, and condemning any student who says, or for that matter, any professor who's teaching, as you said so well, Tyrus, it's Hamas. Yep. You can't say you're a Black Panther or you're an ISIS and not be arrested. This is wrong, and they should be speaking about it.
Okay, I want to make one thing clear. Joe Biden, before he went out and spoke about that bill giving the money away and about the ByteDance divesting itself from TikTok, said, quote, I will take questions on this later, and he never did. Where the audio was clear, there was no Marine One in the background, everybody was teed up. He said he would take questions, and he didn't.
I'm saying
because you're giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm telling you what the facts are.
I give you the benefit of the doubt.
No, you're not giving me the benefit of the doubt. The president said it.
I agree with you. He should.
The longer they don't say it, those are the facts.
The longer they don't say it, the less credibility they will have.
Up next.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.